Fat Dag is a Weight Watchers leader in Indianapolis, Indiana. However, the views and opinions expressed during this podcast are his own. They do not represent the views of Weight Watchers. And now, here's your host and wingman, Fat Dag.
I am your host, Fat Dag, and you're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at Wise Advice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello. Welcome to episode 183. And I want to bring your attention to something just to kind of clarify a couple things. Every once in a while, I get some email traffic, some correspondence back and forth, and I just want to make it very clear that if you're listening to the show in the Wise Advice app, that's my favorite way for you to listen. So if when I say app, you're thinking your podcast app, you're thinking the Weight Watchers app, you're thinking some other app, I want you to go to your app store. Press pause right now, go to your app store, pull up looking for a new app, type in the search bar, Wise Advice with Fat Dag. It should auto-populate by the time you get to the V, WHYSADV, but at that point it should auto-populate, and you download the app that I've built specifically for this show. It's hands down my favorite way to listen to the podcast. Certainly you can listen in your own podcast app if you have one out there. If you're a seasoned podcast veteran and you want to do that, you can. But the app, the Wise Advice with Fat Dag app, is the best way to listen to the show. Of course, we're also on Spotify, we're on iHeartRadio, we're on Stitcher Radio, and anywhere you can find a podcast. But truly, just thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the Wise Wingman Facebook group. Thank you for just out here getting it done. So let's open up the show today. Got a whole bunch of things planned. Really just want to just kind of keep us all focused, keep us on plan. Sarah writes in, she says, "Hi, Mike. Well, oh my goodness, in July 2017, I wrote in and I heard you read my letter on episode 94. I had lost 25 pounds and I was filled with gratitude and appreciation for Weight Watchers, Connect, and your dedication to helping us all. It's now almost March 2018, and I have to say that where my weight loss carved away so much, my appreciation has only increased by leaps and bounds. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My story is familiar. My body resembled a human yo-yo. Up and down went my weight for years, and yes, just like you described, each time the weight went higher and higher before it came down. And yes, another one of your predictions was that I lost weight for other people. Last spring, I found myself staring at a photo in which I did not recognize myself. I didn't know who she was. I recognized, though, that she was in a lot of pain. In my life, I have taken care of a lot of people. This time, I decided to take care of the woman in the photo. My tool belt became filled with tracking, Connect, your podcast, attendance goals at the gym, and being really kind to myself. I worked the program. Blue dots swam in front of my eyes. I started crunching the numbers to figure out my goal weight. 5%, 10%. How about 20%? Once again, your prediction came true. Goal wasn't a number. What it truly includes is smiling for photos, a radiance from healthy eating and exercise, being able to keep up with my students, looking forward to roaming around this summer, donating my size 14, 12, 10, and 8s and 6s, and replacing them with size 0, 2s, and 4s. I found that I'm a real good mother to myself. I found that there is an amazing village of support. One more of your predictions, people noticed. What's even better is it's opening up new opportunities of care, concern, and support for one another. This isn't a competition. This is all of us helping one another to do the best in our own lanes as we reach for the prize ourselves. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Here's to a world in which we are all a bit healthier, happier, and hopeful. My best to you and your beautiful family. A huge cyber hug to all who listen. Take care, Sarah. Sarah, yeah, way to go. Way to just absolutely own it. Way to understand that the journey requires you to be in the best shape of your mind that's possible. If your mind is strong and you understand what's going on, you know why you're doing it, and you understand that goal is a feeling, you can get it done. Now, your story is familiar, right? We all kind of have this up and down yo-yo thing going on. And the reason that, as just like we talk about, as your weight goes higher and then lower, and then you kind of give up for a little bit, and then your weight starts climbing, it's because we get used to seeing those numbers on the scale. Those numbers no longer scare us for the first time. And so as we work the journey, as we work the program, it comes to a point where all of a sudden we say, okay, I'm doing it. And the number starts going down and down. And then we let complacency set in. Complacency sets in. As the number starts climbing, it climbs to numbers that we have seen before. It climbs to numbers we have accepted in our journey. It climbs to numbers that we've known that we can get out of. So therefore, those numbers don't scare us. It's not until we get to a new starting weight, a new high weight, that all of a sudden we go, oh, I haven't been here before. And the thing we say is, this is the most I've weighed in my life. And I'm trying to get us to a point where we no longer have to say that. I'm trying to get us to a point where we don't quit, where we start the journey, and when we decide to take care of us. And when we do that, that phrase is gone. That phrase never, ever enters back. And we substitute it for, this is the best I've ever felt in my life. I haven't been this weight since high school. Those words are very, very powerful. Now, you have a great realization in the fact that you understand now that goal isn't a number. It truly is smiling in a photo, a radiance from just eating healthy and exercise and being able to do anything that you want to do. As you start giving away clothing and you start realizing that you're never going to be in a size 14 anymore. You're never going to be in a 12, 10, 8. You are now locked into a healthy, fit lifestyle and you're getting it done. I love the realization too that you also found that you are a good mother to yourself. Isn't that what it's about? If you take care of you first, it opens up the opportunity for you to take care of anyone else around you. But you can only do that, or you can do that best from a point where you are your best. That's where I'm trying to get you to. That's where I want you to go. I want you to reach out, and I want you to be so proud of yourself that you take care of yourself and that everybody else says, oh, yes, I see it. You're happier. You're healthier. There's a hope. There's a glimmer. There's a spring in your step. And we can all get there. We can all reach for that prize, and we can get there. It's not a competition. It's exactly like you said. This is all of us helping one another to do the best, stay in our own lanes, reach for the prize, and get to goal. Congratulations on getting it. Congratulations on saying, yeah, I know what I'm fighting for, and I can't wait to get there. That is what we're all after. Sarah, thank you so much for your email. Next email, Blessed30 on Connect. So I'm going to mispronounce it. You know me and names. It's Lourdes. That's what we're going to go with. Sorry. It says, hello, Fat Dag. I'm on the Wise Wingman Facebook page, and you said to address my concerns in an email. So here goes. I'm a lifetime member, and I've been for 3 years now. I was doing good until the new 0-point system. I'm so frustrated. I love the 0-point foods, but I cannot stop eating them. I'm gaining slowly but surely, and I'm always dodging the scale. I almost quit, but like you said, I don't want a new start date. I was actually thinking of joining Overeaters Anonymous because I would make 1-point muffins and I would eat 12 at night because they are all free. Well, nothing is free. I found the old point system worked better for me. I think I tricked myself regarding all the 0-point foods. Any suggestions would help. Thanks in advance for helping me be the prize. Well, congratulations on being lifetime. That in itself is an amazing opportunity, amazing job, amazing focus. You've proven you can do this. You absolutely understand the concept behind eating right, eating healthy, having self-control, having some discipline. Conceptually, you get it. And that is how you made Lifetime. And that's how you made Lifetime 3 years ago. Now, just because food turns into 0-point items, you understand after 3 years of living at Lifetime, you have to understand and recognize a difference in your eating pattern. As we introduce 0-point foods, generally the list of 0-point foods are foods that we don't tend to overeat. Now, certainly what happens is as we live this journey, as we start, depriving ourselves, so to speak, and we do that to get to goal, when all of a sudden these 0-point foods become reintroduced, then we do to some extent, we go overeat on them. But because they're foods that we don't tend to overeat, it's going to be a short-lived celebration. And what happens is all of a sudden, something comes into your life, it's 0-point foods, you gobble, 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 you take it, and at some point you will get tired of that food and you'll move on to something else. And it's at that point you have to figure out the balance of getting it all done. Dodging the scale is not your answer. You don't want a new start date. It's exactly how it works. Is you have to understand that the program is designed to keep you mentally in the game. It's to keep you mentally focused. It's to give you some freedom so that you're not having to go to bed at 4 o'clock in the afternoon because you're simply out of points. And so at that point, you can have a 0-point dinner and you can make it through the day by staying on plan, because we understand that a bigger part of this program is people who fall off the plan. And if you're overeating on 0-point foods, but you're still following the plan, that is a victory for long-term success. What's happened before is people, were still eating the same amount of food, but what was happening is rather than tracking it, rather than opening up, is they would just quit altogether and dodge the scale and dodge the program. That is what we're trying to avoid. Now, when it comes to joining Overeaters Anonymous, and I understand the concept, I've never been, but that's something that only you and your physician, that's something that you guys have to work out. But let me tell you how I understand this as well. When there are things in my journey that I don't have the self-control, if I make muffins and I'm going to eat 12 because they're there, I have to actually just quit making them. I don't have moderation sometimes. So more often than not, I have the most willpower before the first bite. It's the second and third bite where my willpower starts to weaken. And at that point, I just can't, I have to, put the brakes on. So knowing that about my journey is there are things that I just cannot have. I'm not saying they're off limits. I'm saying that you can't. I'm not saying that you can't have them. I'm saying I know me because I've been at goal now and I've been at Lifetime now long enough to understand what a healthy, balanced diet looks like. So I understand that those are things that I either can't have or I have to have in such moderation where I truly do control it. More often than not, I choose to not have them because I don't want to reintroduce them back in, and I'm completely okay with that. So congratulations on being Lifetime. You are still doing good. we have to find a point where what is the goal here? Is the goal for you to satisfy a program requirement, or is the goal to satisfy you? And so, certainly, there's a combination of both that becomes true, right? You want to satisfy the program requirement so that you can continue to maintain it and use the program for life at no cost to yourself. That's a great goal. But more often than that, more better than that, if it's a better term, is that you want to get to the point where you satisfy you, where you're doing what you're doing, where you're not dodging the scale, where you've balanced your life happily, where you've figured out what you can eat, what you can't eat, when you've figured out what's working for you and what's not working for you, and you understand how all of that plays into your journey. That's that goal feeling. That's what you're after, and you absolutely can get there. So thanks for your email. I appreciate you writing in. Out of Oklahoma, Becky writes in. She says, "My why is terrified, but I'm hopeful. I am very grateful for your podcast. I made a lifetimer, 11 pounds over goal. I'm a former Weight Watcher leader and a domestic abuse survivor. As I have taken a hard look at the scale, I have realized that I wanted to not let the numbers get away from me. So when I reached 20 pounds over goal, I restarted back on the program. Originally, when I lost the weight and became a leader, I was in an abusive marriage to a man who controlled nearly every aspect of our lives. Food was the only thing he couldn't control, and because he was overweight as well, me doing Weight Watchers was a good thing for me. I thought all the time that's my why was for my health. The doctor told me that if I would lose weight, that I would probably no longer have asthma attacks, and sure enough, the doctor was right. Since I originally lost those 40 pounds, I've gone through a divorce, a major career change, ongoing legal battles, and much overwhelmed struggle. I've also remarried a man who constantly shows me what love is and is super supportive. My biggest struggle is my why, because freestyle works. Before I thought it was for my own health, but really it was so that I would have some measure of control in my own life. Now I keep going with it because I'm too scared to get back to where I was before. I'm an entirely different person than I was before. I am loved more than I ever could have dreamed of, and yet I don't want fear to be my why. I really would like to stay healthy enough for when I get older. I'm 36 now. I will be in good enough shape that I can keep up with my kids and my future grandchildren. I want to have energy. I don't want the fibromyalgia I live with every day to win. Truly doing something for me is scary because I don't want to fail myself. Still, food makes a terrible friend, and no amount of chocolate is going to make it all better. The scale does just share data, but somehow the mess of feelings attached to it all is difficult. I want this for me this time. I am part of the Facebook group, and I have a great support in my mom. She and I are getting back on track together. I am grateful for all of your support through the podcast, your Facebook group, the Wise Wingman group, and your website. Thank you for way more than I can articulate at the moment, Becky. Well, Becky, let's jump right back to the beginning of your email, and I'm incredibly proud of you. Way to be strong, and way to really, go through a very, very hard period in your life and come out a winner. I'm proud of you, and thank you for sharing that part of your journey, because right now someone listening feels like that they're trapped and they're trying to find what you have found. So thank you for sharing that, and welcome back to the program. Welcome back to, as a lifetime member, welcome back to say, you know what, I know what my triggers are. I know what the limit is. 20 pounds over goal was it. I'm back on the program. Your doctor told you that, if you lost the weight, you'd probably no longer have the asthma attacks. And, sometimes the doctors, they get it right. How interesting is that, we keep an eye on our doctor. We keep checking in with them, and they actually kind of help us out. So Great work in all aspects of your life. It sounds like you really absolutely are at a place where you have the perfect balance of a happy marriage and a healthy lifestyle and a regular routine with check-in with your doctor. And you're absolutely getting it done. You are a completely new person. Think about that for a second. And so you remarried a man who constantly shows you what love is and he's super supportive. You lost the 40 pounds. You've gone through divorce, the major career change, ongoing little battles. You are completely different, and it's because you decided it was time. You took control of your life. You found out that you didn't want fear to be your why. You've been refocused. You lived with fear long enough. And what I want is I don't want fear to be anyone's why. I don't want it to be your why. I don't want it to be my why. You shouldn't have fear in this journey. There are so many things you can focus on as you walk the journey, as you walk this path, as you're out there getting it done. It's why we write down in the Book of Awesome, and you write down in the your non-scale victories. What you're looking for is you're looking for the amazing things in your life that you may not have noticed before. And what happens is as you start focusing on the positive things in your life, more and more positive things continue to show up. I want you to celebrate with joy. I want you to find a list of non-scale victories. I want you to every single day to start taking an inventory of what's going right, of the things you could do now that you couldn't do before, of the amazing strength that you have. How proud of yourself you are that you've gotten restarted, that as a 20-pound over your goal, you said, yeah, I can do this. I'm ready. I'm jumping back in. I want you to have the energy. I want you to just absolutely go after it. How cool is it that you and your mom are getting back on track together? You have an amazing accountability in that accountability partner with that. The podcast, the Facebook group. You're surrounded by winners. You are leading the charge. You are showing a group of people what winning looks like. And together, all of you, all of us can do whatever it is we're after. I'm so honored to be able to read your email and share it with our group because I know, and just as we said it, the folks on Facebook watching live were chiming in that what an amazing email this is. And I agree. And what I love is how you went from a very, very unfortunate place in your life and you completely turned it around. That was you. That was you getting it done. And truly, Becky, thank you so much for writing in. And last up, Linda writes in. She says, "Hi, Mike. Greetings from Old Jersey, the United Kingdom. I love listening to your podcast. It gave me a great motivation when I started, and I lost 32 pounds in 4 months. Well, then Flex came and threw me off course. I carried on, but I struggled with it. Then Christmas came, and I took 2 days off the plan to eat what I wanted. And then 2 days turned into 2 weeks. And now I'm into 2 months. I can't seem to halt this downward spiral. I put 10 pounds back on, and I'm so angry with myself. I'm going to revisit my whys. Keep listening to your podcast. I'm going to go back to class. I've actually been too embarrassed to go. I'm going to plan my meals. I'm going to track everything. I'm going to take it one meal at a time, one day at a time. I know what I have to do. I just can't seem to get motivated to actually do it. Did you ever have days like these, Mike? How do you get back on track? Thank you for reading this, Linda." Linda, well, thank you for writing in from the United Kingdom. How cool is that? We joke when we're in on Facebook and we say that the show has gone international, and of course we know that to be true. But how awesome that you wrote in from the United Kingdom. Thank you for that. Congratulations on your 32 pounds in 4 months. That's amazing focus. If you've lost 32 pounds in 4 months, you can do whatever it is you want to do, regardless of what plan is out there. Now, when Flex came out to the United Kingdom, Flex rolled out just ahead of freestyle for the U.S. Same program, the best I can tell. The rules are very, very similar. It's just a name change out in the UK to Flex. And you carried on and you struggled. And here is where, I always find this interesting is that Christmas came, I took 2 days off the plan. And I took 2 days to eat what I wanted. Then 2 days turned to 2 weeks, 2 weeks turned to 2 months. And so I think a lot of times what happens is we feel like we're following something that we can't do long term, and we need to take days off. And I'm telling you, if you need to take a day off from your program, you're not working the program. And I say that with a big heart. I say that with a ton of love. But what I'm saying is that you're suppressing a bad habit. You're suppressing something that's gnawing, that's saying, I want out, and you can only do that for so long. You case in point is you took 2 days off and you reignited all of those bad habits. Those habits turned into 2 weeks. They turned into 2 months. And now we're sitting here fighting this downward spiral of a 10-pound gain, saying, I want to get back. What I want you to do is I want you to refocus your anger and be proud of yourself for writing in. Be proud of yourself for saying, I recognize something's different. I recognize that I took some time off, and I recognize that I enjoyed it. And now I'm back at it, getting it done. It's not anger. It's pride. It's pride in you saying, yeah, okay, I did it. I'm back and I can do this. There is absolutely no room in this journey for anger. Everyone in that meeting room in your class, when you walk in and you say, I'm back, they're going to get it. They're going to understand that they've done the same thing. And so, it's kind of like that old adage of, you don't want your friends to see you walking in Kmart. Well, if they're in Kmart, we're all in the journey together. When you walk into the meeting room, it's people who they're going to give you a big hug. They're going to say, welcome back. They're going to say, how can we help? You've detailed it. You're going to revisit your whys. You're going to keep listening to your podcast. You're going to go back to the class. You're going to plan your meals, track everything. Take it one meal at a time, one day at a time. That paragraph right there is everything you need to know about this journey. It's just a matter of doing it. When you ask me, how do I get back on track? Do I ever have days like this? Of course. But reality is I don't get off track. I don't struggle. I call it balance. I'm balancing a lot in my life. I'm balancing a social calendar. I'm balancing a work calendar. I'm balancing an exercise routine. I'm balancing a food intake. Some days I'm really good at some of them, and some days I'm really good at the others. But together, it's one big happy balance of everything. And I've thrown the term struggle out the window. I don't struggle. I don't get off track. What I do is I get off balance and I get to the point where maybe the work schedule is so intense this week that the exercise schedule is down. Well, then I recognize that and then the next week I pick up in the exercise calendar. Maybe the social calendar, the holiday calendar is so full of events that I have to put some focus and energy there. And so what you have to do is you have to understand that this lifestyle is what we're after. You have to understand that it takes focus in all areas, and you only have so much focus to give. And so you can give it all to the plan and you can do very, very, very well. But at some point, there's something that you're going to be neglecting. And then so you shift your focus over there, and then there's something else. So you have to find a way to balance it all. And when you do that, that's living the plan. That's not taking 2 days off. That's recognizing that I have a calendar that I just need to balance, and I'm balancing all, and I'm happy. I'm joyous. I'm celebrating. I'm in a meeting. I'm checking in with people who get it. It's one meal at a time. One day at a time. You know what to do. And so whether or not you can get motivated to actually do it is all you. Don't you want that feeling? 32 pounds in 4 months? That didn't happen by accident. That happened because you knew why you wanted it. That happened because you logged into the meeting. That happened because you absolutely got it done. You can do this. And when you do it, we're all going to be out there celebrating. What is it that you're celebrating? Let's share it on the air. Go to fatdag.com. Click on Listen Wise Advice Podcast to send in your celebrations, your comments, and your questions. I'll work them in as part of the show. I want you to email in your celebrations. I want you to email in your story because I really want you to be absolutely proud of what you're doing. And you notice as we write through and we read through these emails, so many people are doing amazing things. And when you do amazing things and you win, it gives someone else hope. It gives someone else that opportunity to go, yeah, I can do this too. And when you're proud of it, we're proud of you, and together we're out there getting it done. Well, that's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. I wish you good focus. Thank you for listening to the Wise Advice Podcast. Did you know for as little as $1 a month, you can take the next step as a wingman and support the show? Visit fatdag.com, click on Become a Patron today.